Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz, news and entertainment with a buzz. The video that you just saw are the edited version of the videos that you just saw. One is about 1 minute and 48 seconds, and the next one is about 48 seconds. Not very good quality, but if you look intently, you could see that this was probably not any sorts of shootouts. This is what we would term cold-blooded takeaway of a human being, or at least 3 human beings, just based on the video. Did not see the before, did not see the after. I am just going by what the eye test told me in this video. Now remember, those officers claim that there was some sorts of confrontation of the gun battle type. However, video evidence, meaning these 2 videos that I just spoke about, they show that that was not the case, that was not a fact. So in other words, the police was lying. You saw the charges that they got. They lied to the commissioner. They fired some sorts of fire piece 40 feet or so from a public thoroughfare. 3 counts of takeaway of human lives, amongst other things. Whenever you are a police officer and there's any sorts of confrontation, you are always going to get the benefit of the doubt. So therefore, if Indicom investigates and recommend to the High Commission of the JCF that these persons are to be charged, they do a thorough investigation and they send the file to the DPP based on this video evidence and probably more, all sorts of evidence that was gathered at the scene of the crime. And they determined that these officers are to be charged, and they were. More than likely, they were probably guilty of something, including the takeaway of 3 lives. Now, I've been looking on social media and listening to people, and it seems as if people of Jamaica have become cold. People of Jamaica don't really care about the law and implementing the law and keeping people safe and secure like the JSF is supposed to, making people have their day in court. And I understand that Jamaica is a different sort of place than what most persons are used to a couple of decades. And I understand that these criminal elements should be thrown no sorts of sympathy party. However, you have to ask yourself this: what do you stand for? Do you stand for justice? Do you stand to be biased? Or do you stand to make sure that people like yourself and myself, your family who are legal, law-abiding citizens, don't get caught up in a situation in which the same popo that are out there committing extrajudicial takeaway, because that is exactly what this is, don't get carried away, and when them buck up in a innocent people, the same thing goes for those innocent people, including you and I, including our families. So we have to be very careful what we ask for. Now, when the Popo made their report, at first they said, well, I don't know if these persons being any sorts of gang member are included in any sorts of gang. After the shooting, after they were charged, then what they say is polar opposite. It has to be one or the other, and I say this to say that if, when they went on that mission, they knew without any shadow of a doubt that these 3 youths were involved in gang, including the takeaway, including gang member, including posing up with all sorts of gun on social media. And people, maybe there are pictures, maybe there are videos out there with these youths doing that. And if that is the case, then there should be no sorts of sympathy party. However, we cannot just give the police, the JSF, an open door, open policy to do whatever they so choose to operate with immunity. That means that anything goes. You cannot have an anything goes society, including the poor, and it seems as if that is what persons are comfortable with. One of the things that I've also realized, if you have an opinion and your opinion is of justice, people are going to say, well, you're anti-police. I did not know that being justice for justice means anti-police. I thought justice meant that you're doing the right thing or saying the right thing or giving your opinion as it pertains to that. But what I've realized is that the landscape of blogging has changed, and people now realize that subscribers are ultra sensitive. Subscribers want you to tell them what they want to hear, not what the facts are, not what the evidence proves. So therefore, if any sorts of blogger such as myself have a view of justice instead of being a police tete, then you're anti-justice, you're anti-police. Well, people, if I'm supposed to blog and be like the other people, then I will not blog anymore. I would rather to stop blogging if I don't have an opinion, because at the end of the day, that is exactly what blogging or vlogging is about. Now, people, me hear people say, well, Indicom need to leave the police alone. Indicom for turn a blind eye. Well, see, that's the same sorts of mentality you guys have. Because because you want persons to be on the same agenda as you are, if it does not apply to your family. However, if and when this reaches your doorstep, because when things or people get carried away, they don't know where to stop because they are facilitated. They are facilitated by the JCF. They are facilitated by the security minister that does not know the law. Don't know how he got that position. I am speaking about Dr. Horace Chang. So therefore, if the top of the stream is corrupt, if they feel as if they can do anything, that is exactly what they are going to do until them do it to an innocent person, and they are going to cover up and say the same thing. Just to reference, in about 2010, a man, Mr. Keith Clark, lived uptown. No sorts of criminal element. The poor got some sorts of news that, yes, there might be dodos at his house. They went by the house. There was no sorts of dodos. Security, military team, meaning JCF, JDF, went by the man's house, blaze up the man. 26 times, most of them 16 at least, in I'm back, other in I'm face, in I'm neck, all over. That man was not a criminal element. That man was not involved. Yes, his name might have been called up. However, if you check his record, like most Jamaicans, them are going to say this man never have any sorts of conviction. That man's case went to court with all the evidence. The case did not even go to trial because the judge deemed that there is no sorts of evidence to substantiate that these JDF officers did anything wrong. That is a rich man. Ask yourself, you as an average, most of the people that are listening to these blogs, if something like that happened to you, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that you are going to get any sorts of justice? So therefore, it is okay if and when them take out somebody, if that person's name is questionable. And like I said, because I know that persons like to nitpick and take what I say out of context, I am throwing no sorts of sympathy party for any sorts of person. However, when I look at this video, parts that I could not show because of YouTube's policy, we saw the men running, the poor piping them up. There was a whole bunch of blazing by the poor with all sorts of rifle. It happened that they hit one of their own. Remember, in the report, they said that an officer got caught up in the leg. It was obvious in the video. The man was taken out, or the men were taken out in a cold blood. There was not any sorts of pie out. It was quite obvious in these two videos. 1 minute and 49 or 48 seconds, and the next one 48 seconds. the truth and the fact is that the video evidence was kind of blurry. It looked like it took from JBC from back in the 1970s or so. However, what you could clearly see what is that there was no sorts of shootout, is that these persons were taken out in a cold blood. And the facts of the case are these again. The tool that was used was a tool that was in courts as far as 2017 for a next case. So therefore, they brought this tool, at least two tools, a Ruger and a Sig Sauer. Both of those tools were used in some sorts of case in the court. That means that they either had the tool or had access to go and get these tools and come back and place on these three youths. And again, I am not saying that these youths don't have any sorts of poor record or any sorts of history, and there's supposed to be no sorts of sympathy party for no sorts of criminal. But me just say, if you would want justice, it does not mean that you're anti-popo. It means that you want stuff to go by the book, and I understand. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. So therefore, the people or the police are reacting based on the fact that they are given basket to carry water. So therefore, they are working under extreme condition. It is very hard. It is very stressing. So therefore, sometimes they are going to flip. However, it is about the extent in which you flip. You cannot flip and just blaze up people, lie about the evidence, lie about the tool, lie about everything, lie to the commissioner of Popo. Because you always get the benefit of the doubt, especially when you're now going to get the services of a lawyer such as a Peter Champagne. You know that it is an open and shut case. The reference that I gave before about Mr. Keith Clark, he is an uptown man. He is not involved. He doesn't have any sorts of criminal history. What do you think is going to happen when these three youths go to court, or the case goes to court against these officers? They are going to walk scot-free. You are going to say that justice is served. So don't be feeling as if, well, the popo them should not be locked up. I can tell you, I can put my life on the line and bet anything that I have and say, these popo, they are going to walk, because the system always looks out for the system or people that are rich. If you do not fall in that category, this could happen to you, and you're not going to get any sorts of justice, or your family is not going to get any sorts of justice. Will you be okay with that? Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself.